kickoff game day here in Tallahassee. Lee Corso picking Florida State over Miami. Welcome outside here to Lane for Green, everyone. It's game day here in Tallahassee alongside Lane Hurd. I'm Scott Kotick. And Lane, just the atmosphere around Doak just kind of feels different. Even last year's Clemson game, Oklahoma the year before, those were big games. This has just got a different feel to it.
I'm going to be honest, as the week was going on, it wasn't all that exciting, but once we got to yesterday and people started to come in, it got really exciting. And then just being here for game day and seeing the electricity of the fans, got really excited. And of course, Lee Corso picks the Noles and the crowd goes absolutely crazy.
And the one thing, even walking in early this morning going to game day, it just feels totally different. The crowd is amped, they're into it. People are tailgating. It's just, the atmosphere is great. But obviously there's a football game to play. That's the big news. Let's first focus on Florida State's defense. They're going to go against a guy in Stephen Morris, especially an offensive line, the best they may have seen this year, and a running back, Duke Johnson, going to be an awfully tough challenge for the defense.
Absolutely, Scott. I've been saying all year, I think the one way you can try to attempt to attack the Seminole defense is by running right at it, and Miami's one of those teams that has that personnel, that big, beefy offensive line. Duke Johnson, a guy who he'll carry it 35 times a game if they want to do that, then they do the play-action pass. It is up to the Seminole defense to get really physical with this Miami offense and try to stop them at the point of attack.
The one thing Florida State's been great at the past two ball games, forcing a turnover on the very first drive of either Clemson or NC State, gave the offense a lot of momentum. Should the Noles be able to force Stephen Morris, who's been prone to throw a lot of picks, into turnovers, Florida State's looking pretty.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to stop them in the running game on first and second down, put them in obvious passing downs, and as Kirk Herbstreit said, he thinks that's the best secondary in the country, the Florida State secondary. Allow them to do what they do and try to create some turnovers.
Of course, the one thing we can't leave without saying, Jameis Winston and that offense, more than anything else, how good is that offensive line been? That's maybe a group that doesn't get a whole lot of credit. They're giving Winston a lot of time back there.
Well, these are guys that, again, going back to the national media, they've been talking about Florida State for the last couple of weeks. Andy Staples said most of those guys got thrown into the fire against Notre Dame in that Champs Sports Bowl. It went very poorly that first half, but you're seeing that experience pay off right now with how good they've been opening running holes, giving Winston enough time to throw. If they continue to play well, it's going to be hard to really stop this Florida State offense.
The one thing that's good about tonight's ball game at Doak is James Wilder Jr. returns. You have a healthy Devontae Freeman, a healthy Carlos Williams. You talk all you want about Jameis Winston and how many yards he throws for, and Rashad Green, Benjamin, Kenny Shaw, so on and so forth. If Devontae Freeman, Williams, and Wilder can run the ball, Florida State's going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, the thing that Florida State's been doing this year is they've been really mixing it up. They've been throwing on running downs and really keeping teams off balance. Again, if they start going to that rushing attack, get those holes open, it opens things up even more for Jameis Winston. I'd say look for that running game to have a big day if Florida State wins.
It wouldn't be Florida State-Miami if we didn't talk special teams. Thankfully, Florida State's got a very good kicker. Roberto Aguayo has not been put in any pressure situations just yet, but he's been perfect on the season. That's going to be a key to tonight's ball game.
I think the most pressured kick that Aguayo's had so far this year was the field goal in the first quarter at Clemson, and of course he made that. You have to have a lot of confidence in the guy because he hasn't missed yet. He's looked really calm and comfortable out there. The one thing to watch the last couple of weeks, he has kicked a couple of kickoffs out of bounds. You need to fix that up so you're not giving Miami good field position, especially early in the ball game.
Keys to the ball game for Florida State: simply do not turn the ball over. You cannot give Miami any momentum. Florida State's been fantastic. I believe they're +8 in turnover margin on the season thus far. That's going to be a key today. And then for me, feed off the crowd. This crowd, it's sold out. It's been sold out for weeks. It's going to be electric. It's going to be maybe even an attendance record tonight should everybody show up. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Florida State needs to feed off that.
Absolutely, and for me that feeds into one of my points. It's a quick start. They scored 35 points against NC State in the first quarter, 17 against Clemson. If Florida State can get off to a quick start again and force Miami into being one-dimensional and have to throw the ball, it's going to be awfully hard for them, and you could see another Florida State blowout.
A great way to start out the game here with game day behind us. Lee Corso picking the Noles was fantastic. Kickoff schedule for 8:18 here at Doak. Lane Hurd will be on the sidelines shooting great highlights. Brandon Miller and I will be in the press box to provide you all the complete coverage. It's Florida State and Miami. Doesn't get any better than this. So for Lane Hurd, I'm Scott Kotick saying go Noles, and we'll see you after the game.